Hello everyone, I'm going to tell you about the Enscape. So let's download the Enscape. You can download Enscape from the enscape3d.com, and if you are a student, you can simply ask for the free student license over here. So you need to put your name and your education email and your university, something like that. And then after that, after you install Enscape, if you don't see the tab of the Enscape like me, you can simply go to the tool and toolbar layout, and then you will see this Enscape Rhino 6 plugin. And just tick these two, Enscape and Enscape capturing. Then you will see these two tabs over here, and just simply drag and drop to your tab. That's it. And now you're ready to use the Enscape. So let's start Enscape. When you open your Enscape, you will see something like this. Well, now it's too bright maybe. Yeah, you will see something like this. So, and here, it explains how you're going to move around. So, like he said, if you press W, it goes to the front. If you press the Shift, a bit fast. And then if you press with the Control, way faster. And then A goes to the left, D goes to the right, and E and Q is, like it said, is up and down. And this is like based on game engine. So for now, it's like a flying mode, so you can move around everywhere. But however, if you press the space, it directly jumps onto the human's eye view. So as you can see here, it's like movement of the human, and you cannot pass, in this case, you cannot pass through the wall. And yeah, when you go to the stairs, it goes to up and shift fast again, something like that. So again, if you press the space again, it's going to be directly changed into the flying view. So you can view from the upside, like a bird's eye view. And here, you will see like a small cube over here. And if you press this one, you can simply change into the different view type, which is like, first one is the perspective view, which is right now. And then second choice is 2-point view. So, well, it's a bit weird in that height. But yeah, if you go to the human view, like even though you go look at down, or even you get up, your the vertical all the vertical lines like is perpendicular. So you can compare with like the perspective view like this. So you can see these vertical lines they are not perpendicular. But yeah, when you go to the 2-point perspective, yeah, wherever you look at it, it's going to be perpendicular. And there is a orthographic view, which is like for the isometric or axonometric. Or you can see here, there is a standard view of the orthographic view, which is, so if you press 5, it's going to be like a top view, and 2 is like a front, 8 is like a back, and left view, right view, something like this. If you don't want to see this panel, you can simply press H. Then you will see only your models over here. So let's go back to the perspective view. So, and the really good thing of the Enscape is you can directly link with the Rhino. So for example, even when you press here to synchronize the view in the Rhino, it's going to have a same view from Rhino. So if you move around the Rhino, your Enscape view will be changed as well. Like a zoom in, zoom out, everything. And then even in this situation, you can simply move around in the in the Enscape as well to get the more precise view, to get the better view. And then, for example, like, yeah, let's say if you like this view, then you can, in the Rhino, you will see this button, create a named view in Rhino with the current Enscape view, which means if you press this one, and then it's going to create the Enscape name view. So if you, okay, this one is like when you go to the, where is it? Visibility, no, sorry. Display, when you go to the display tab, oh, when you go to the set view tab, sorry, so you will see this one, which is toggle name view panel. This is the toggle name view panel. So your Enscape view just saved into here. So if you click this, double click this one, it's going to move to the same viewpoint where we saved. And then, or inside of the Rhino, if you find a good view which you like, for example, like let's say this one, for example, and you can simply just press the Save As button over here, and maybe change the name, perspective, and it's saved this view. So after you save the view, you can move around, and then you can work whatever you want. And then after that, if you press this, if you double click this view, it's going to go back to your saved view. So let's have a look about the Enscape. Let's press this one, which is Enscape setting view. Settings. There's two settings actually. First setting is more about the file saving files and lock speed, and more like how can I say that? More general settings. It's not about your view. So usually you don't need to touch this. Well, so as well as, I also never touch this one. But if you are like really sensitive to move at the mouse or to change the view, something like that, you can change this one. And then, yeah, as you can see here, like you can change your height or like the size of the human or a movement speed. It's up to you. But yeah, I'm just usually using the default settings. And then this setting is pretty important to you guys. So let's have a look one by one. So inside first one is a rendering. And so as you can see here, there is an outline. If you like change the outline, you will see the outline view, something like this. So it brought you like kind of like a cartoon view, or maybe very similar to SketchUp view, something like that. And then there is a different type, a different mode over here. And if you press white, it's going to change every material, every textures to white. Well, you can see this because I gave them a bump, which means like it has a bit of fracture over here. It has a bump, so that's why you see this the shades and shadows. But however, usually this change every text to the white. Well, because this is a bit yellow, it's because of the timeline. And yeah, and then you can simply change your timeline in the Enscape, like press Shift and right mouse button, something like this. So you will see the time is changing like this. And then here is auto exposure. It's like, you can just understand as exactly same as your camera. So if you make a bit like a overexposure, you can make it to up. If you don't like, if you think it's too bright, you can make it to down, or you can just turn up your auto exposure and just change by your personal settings. And this one is like you can change the view type, like a perspective or 2-point perspective or orthographic view. But however, for now, we are syncing with the Rhino view, so that's why you cannot change this one. So if you like make it toggle the syncing view with the Rhino, you can change this view. It's exactly the same as this button over here. So yeah, now I'm just make it to same to Rhino. And here, depth of the field is like your focus of the focus of your lens. So let's change to the and then I just forgot to tell you about the polysterol is, well, to be honest, I don't feel that difference in between this and white, but the like the material, like the reflection of the material is a bit different. And then the light view is like it shows a light. So the blue means it has a shade and shadow, and red means like it's bright. So I'm going to go back to the just none mode, which is like usual mode. And here, depth of the field is like you can see the your focus of your lens is changing like this. And then here, focal point, which means you can give some focus in certain point. Like for example, yeah, you can see the your focus is moving, changing. And then if you like to give some focus in this like at this corner, just make it to the focus, bring your focus to here, and you can change your depth of field, like this kind of things. And field of view is like a lens length or lens angle. So for now, you cannot change this one because you are syncing with the Rhino. So inside of the Rhino, there is a lens length over here. It's the same meaning. It gives you different numbers, but actually it's the function itself is actually same. So if you change to like for example 80 is going to be more like the orthographic view, and then if you change like for example 15, like it has a very distort view like this. And then usually I prefer to make it like a 35 millimeter, which means this is very the most similar to your human eye actually. So that's why I usually to do this. So yeah, that's why you cannot change this one over here. And then here rendering quality is like the real-time rendering quality. So well, it doesn't give a that big difference to be honest. But if you change to direct, like it's a bit like less than before and becoming high res. But usually, I just like to put it the high. Well, if your laptop or if your computer is really nice, of course you can put into the ultra. But yeah, it make you slow down a bit. So I recommend you put it just high. Well, if your computer is not really bad, maybe it's better to put it the draft. But it's going to be a bit different feeling when you're capturing it. So just make it to high. And if you go to the image, you will see the contrast over here. So, well, usually it's easier to put in just auto contrast, but yeah, if you untick this one, you can like change your detail of the light like this. So you can change like, so in this shadow, the light of the brightness of the shadow is going to be changed. So, but usually it's easier to put auto contrast and then change the detail in Photoshop. And saturation, this is exactly same as the Photoshop. So if you make it higher, it's going to be very, yeah. And if you make it down, it's going to change like a gray mode. So usually just 100%. And color temperature is about the temperature itself as well. I mean, what I'm saying is like if you make it higher, it's going to change a bit like a bluish. And then if you make it down, it's going to change red-ish. And usually default, but I mean, it's all about the like up to your settings. I mean, it's up to you which kind of view you want to, which kind of view you like to. And the ambient brightness, well, you don't see actually that big difference for now. Like, so if you see inside of the ambient bright is like, uh, it's kind of the reflection from the other side. I mean, the other materials. So for example, if you see here, if I make it higher, well, it should be a bit brighter and it's a bit darker, but I mean, this change is very minimal, so it's a bit difficult to see it. But yeah, for example, like if you have a red wall like this, if over here, then inside of here is going to change red as well if you make it the higher. And then if you make it lower, well, you barely see the LED light over here. And the motion blur is actually you don't need to worry about for now because this is usually for the video capture. And lens flare, to see the lens flare, actually we need to change, yeah, we need to see our sky. And oops, where is our sun? Oh, there. So if you look at the sun, yeah, where was it? Yeah, lens flare make kind of like this kind of, yeah, flaring of the lens and the light like this. And then bloom is about the entire image. So if you make it higher, it's going to be like this kind of blurry things. And vignette is going to make a vignette effect like this. And yeah. And yeah, if you go to the atmosphere, I already showed you, but yeah, if you don't like to have like this kind of ground and sunlight, I mean, or the sky, you can just simply tick this one, so make it to white background. So if you do like to use like very conceptual render or like a very clean render, you can just tick this one. And here, fog is like, as it says, it makes a fog. And then also you can adjust the height of the fog. And sun brightness is like this. But the yeah, usually it's better to just put in the result. And night sky brightness. So let's go to the night like this. And if you change this one, yeah, like this. And shadow sharpness actually is not that big deal. As you can see, oops, well, you can see this shadow over here. So if I make it to 100%, yeah, it's more sharp. And yeah, make it down. It's a bit blurred like this. And artificial light brightness is I will talk about this when we talk about the materials. And then you can change the source as well, which means the area. I mean your atmosphere. So for now, it's clear means doesn't have anything over here. But if you go to the desert, I mean simple as a desert, forest, you can see like one by one. And one useful thing is white cubes. So if you don't like to make like cities, then this can be your like atmosphere, and then you can change the location within the change the rotation like this. So yeah, it's when you make kind of like conceptual atmosphere, this is kind of useful. So now I just make it to clear. And wind, again, this is only for the making videos. So you really don't need this for now. And you also can change your cloud. So when you see here, you can change your density of cloud, and you change the variety. And citrus, which means like cirrus is these. So you can see it's changing like this. And contrails is like the when you see the flight, yeah, these kind of lines. So yeah, now you see a lot of contrails like this. And you also can change your location of the cloud like this. And then you can see the light are also influenced by the location of the cloud. So it's like a real world. So when the sun is behind in the cloud, well, yeah, your light is going to be like inside of the shadow. And yeah, when it comes out, yeah, it's going to have like a sunlight. And then capture is about this the save size. So for now, I just make it to full HD, which is like a 1920 by 1080 pixels. But if you want to make it high res, you can go to the Ultra HD. Either simply just you can go to the custom and then you can put number whatever you want. But for now, just make it to full HD. And of course, you have a lower res over here. And here, shows there is a show save frame and export object ID and material ID. And what are they doing is like, for example, let's take this one, show save frame, and then now is the ratio of 1.7878. So when you go to the Enscape capturing panel, you can click the first one, which is the saving the current view. Well, let's say this one. And then when you tick the save frame, means it's going to show actual view what you're going to save. So it asks like it's going to be like this view. So are you sure about that? And then just select your location, and you can just simply save. So you can compare over here. If you untick this one, it's just directly going to save without asking. And then this one, export, and this is usually for the post. This is usually about the Photoshop. So when you tick this one, and then if you just save them, when you go to the folder, you will see like these 4 files are generated. First one is just the render view, and second one is about the light depth. Well, this was too close, but however, yeah. And then this is well, I didn't give that much material for now. That's why all the colors are same, but yeah, it's like divided by the materials, and this is divided by all the object. So you can simply change, you can simply touch in Photoshop within these files. And yeah. This is general overview, and let's have just one more look, which is library. So this is your library view, a set library, and you can see here there is a lot of libraries inside of the Enscape. And then from the Enscape, they usually update it several times, so you're going to have more. But unfortunately, these are all the assets what they have. So if you don't see any like libraries from here, which means you don't have it, so you have to download it from somewhere else, or you have to create it, something like that. So how to use it is, for example, if I want to use this bicycle guy, just select them, and then it's going to ask you to select the target surface. So I have to select the target, and then after that I can choose the location, and yeah, it simply generated your human over here. And then for example, I also can use this guitar guy again. Yeah, you're going to have this guitar guy over here. And good thing about this library is they already rendered everything. So for example, if you want to use some vegetations, and yeah, they shows the scale of all the trees, so you can simply think about the size of the trees, and like this, just you can select whatever you want and just put it there, and then all the libraries are already rendered, so you don't need to worry about them. But however, which means also it has a drawback, and which means like you cannot actually change the color of your libraries. And for example, if you don't like this guy's the sweater's color, but yeah, you cannot change this. You have to do it maybe inside of the Photoshop. And good thing about this library is, as you can see here, it's directly jump into the Rhino, so you can change your library's direction or location inside of the Rhino. So you can move this guy to actually here. Oops, maybe here like this, or you can bring these trees to here. It's simply like this. So can you see these trees are moving a bit? This is about the wind, and this is they just added in 2.8 version, and I'm sure that they're going to create more animations in later version, and I'm really waiting for that. And yeah, that's pretty much. So yeah, and then if you don't like to, if you really don't want to use these libraries, and which means you have to download from somewhere, and what I'm usually download from here in Sketchfab. In the Sketchfab, you can just simply search, like for example, human, and click this one, downloadable, and then yeah, of course, if you'd like to pay, you can pay and download some things. And then if you don't like to pay, if you want to free stuff, well, you can just simply like look for these icons over here. This means they are free, but some of them has a different license condition. So if you want to use it as a commercial, be careful about that. So yeah, like this, whatever you want, you can just go and then download 3D model and OBJ, and sometimes they have a FBX, but doesn't matter if it contains all the materials. You can download whatever you want. And here, one thing I forgot to tell you is when you go to the library, and then I'm for sure that like after you use these several times, you're going to have some of your favorites, and then you can, if you like some of them, you can just simply tick this star over here, and then you will see them inside of your favorites. Well, these humans are which I already put in my favorites. So So this is easier to find your own library. So yeah, you can use this favorite function as well. Yes, this is pretty much about the overview about the Enscape. So I'm going to stop for now, and then next one is I'm going to tell you about the how to set up the material in Enscape.